She called 911 and screamed, "You're breaking the rules!" Right in my face. But I was sitting in my own boat, on my own lake. I froze for a second, watching her stomp down the dock, her HOA badge swinging like it gave her the power of a king. I had been fishing there since sunrise, and suddenly this woman acted like she owned the water, the sky, and every fish in it. "You can't be here," she shouted, waving a clipboard. "I'm issuing a $3,000 fine." I blinked. $3,000 for fishing on a lake my family had owned for 3 generations? She wasn't subtle. Her heels clacked like a drumbeat of entitlement, and she kept screaming, "This is private property. You have to leave." I took a deep breath, hiding the laugh rising in my chest. She didn't know I had the original land deeds tucked in my glove compartment. She didn't know that the only law she could enforce was the one she imagined in her HOA fantasy. I reached for my phone, thinking to record her, but she had already dialed 911. Her face twisted in rage when the dispatcher asked for details, and she practically yelled into the line, "They're trespassing and breaking rules." I leaned back, letting her steam blow off. Then I spotted my old friend Mark, a retired sheriff, walking onto the dock. He grinned, shaking his head. "Still dealing with the HOA nightmare?" Her eyes widened as she saw him approach, thinking he was just a neighbor. She had no idea he'd helped me fight off fake citations before, or that every second of this encounter was being captured on multiple cameras around the lake. Her confidence cracked just a little, enough to make me smile. I didn't move yet. Let her make the next mistake. She didn't know that the joke was about to be on her. The air was thick with her shouting, and the dispatcher's voice barely keeping her in check when I finally stood up. "Ma'am," I said calmly, "you're trespassing on private property yourself." Her face twisted in confusion and anger. I'm the show. I can..." She stopped mid-sentence when Mark stepped closer, flashing his old sheriff badge. "Actually," he said smoothly, "you're committing harassment and trespassing. Step off the property now." Her fake authority crumbled in an instant. She blinked, fumbling with her clipboard as if it could save her. This can't be," she stammered. "You're not supposed to..." I cut her off, holding up my phone. Every second of her shouting, the threats, the fake fines, it was all being recorded. Even the dispatcher could hear the chaos. I felt a surge of satisfaction, but I stayed calm, letting the tension build. She stomped closer, pointing her finger. "I'm going to call the cops again." "This isn't over." I raised an eyebrow. "Go ahead. They'll see the truth just like everyone else already has." Her hands trembled as she reached for her phone. And that's when the first twist hit. Her so-called 911 cops were already in a patrol boat, thinking they were responding to a real emergency. And she had forgotten to explain it was a false alarm. Mark winked at me. "Ready for round 2? The woman's face turned pale as the patrol boat approached the dock, lights flashing. Her mouth opened, no words coming out. I stayed silent, letting the moment stretch, enjoying how her fake power was evaporating. My family's lake, my boat, my rules. The truth was finally catching up with her, and the world was watching. But this was only the beginning. She froze as the patrol boat stopped right beside her, the officers giving her a look that said, "We don't know what's going on, but something's off." She flailed, trying to explain, This man is trespassing. He's..." One officer held up a hand, calm but firm. "Ma'am, we need facts, not screams." Her face turned red, the fury mixing with panic. Every word she tried to use to control the situation fell flat. I leaned against my boat, keeping quiet, letting the evidence do the talking. Mark signaled to the officers, who glanced at the cameras mounted on the dock and the shoreline. Footage showed her approaching me, shouting, slamming the clipboard, and waving that fake HOA notice. The officer's eyes widened, and she realized too late that she had walked straight into her own trap. Her entitlement and imagined authority were no match for reality. Then came the second twist, the shocking injustice she had tried to enforce. She had filed a fake HOA fine for $3,000, thinking she could intimidate me. But the documents she claimed were official were nothing more than a printout she'd scrawled herself. I casually flipped open my glove compartment, revealing the original lake deeds and permits, and handed them to the officers. Their expressions hardened, and she stammered, I didn't know." Her voice faltered as the first. Murmurs of laughter rippled from onlookers, who had gathered. I finally spoke, my tone calm but deadly serious. "You came here to bully someone fishing on their own land. That ends now." The officers escorted her off the dock, still sputtering, as her HOA badge flopped uselessly against her chest. The satisfaction was intense, but I didn't gloat. My eyes met Mark's, and we both knew this was a lesson in respect, law, and pride. And somewhere deep down, I smiled at the thought that this story would travel far beyond the lake, exposing her entitlement for everyone to see. She was gone, escorted off the lake, muttering threats that nobody took seriously anymore. I sank back into my boat, feeling the cool water lap against the hull, and finally let out a deep breath. My kids ran down to the dock, laughing, oblivious to how close things had come to chaos. "Dad, you scared her so much." My son giggled. I smiled, ruffling his hair. "Yeah, but remember, we don't fight with anger. We fight with truth." Mark clapped me on the shoulder, shaking his head with a grin. "That HOA Karen, she won't be doing this again, and everyone else will think twice before trying." I glanced at the cameras still rolling, knowing the footage would soon expose her everywhere. Her fake fines, her screaming, her imagined authority. Justice had been served, clean and clear, without me having to lose my temper. As the sun dipped behind the trees, casting gold across the lake, I felt a swell of pride. Not just for protecting my family and property, but for standing up to abuse and entitlement without stooping to it. I didn't fight for this country to be told I can't fish on my own lake, I said quietly, watching my children skip stones. The freedom to live, to protect what's yours, and to hold power accountable, that was the real victory. And somewhere far away, the HOA Karen would remember this day forever, not as the day she fined someone, but as the day her fake authority was exposed, humiliated and sent packing. That thought alone made the lake feel even more like home.